We got the Open, we got the Super Bowl, we got the Olympics. So much to talk about. Next.
From the dead is a miracle, doc. They counted me out. Moment of truth, counting it down. Underdog story was down for the count. Back on my feet, back with a mic, back on a beat, back with a family that bang in the streets. The game on lock, I stand with a key. Standing my ground, I am planning to flee. Standing my ground, I am planting my feet. Taking a stand, embracing my destiny, shaking his hand, flipping the script.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sunday night CrossFit Talk on a Tuesday.
Welcome to our irregularly scheduled show.
Yeah, we've been all over.
This is the last week for that. We're back to Sundays after this. Football's over. We don't have to compete with a Super Bowl or anything like that anymore. We'll get back to our regularly scheduled time moving forward because the season really kicks off in like a week and a half.
It's coming up quick, man.
And then we'll get into a regular groove of like stuff happening, stuff to talk about, things going on in the space. But until then, make sure you like and subscribe, please. That means so much to the channel. Just hit that like button. It's super easy. It's right there. It's a thumbs up. It's free. Anybody can do it. It's weird because I'm so used to doing a lunch show, and tonight we're kind of doing a dinner show. So kind of surrounded around meals, man. You guys do anything over the last weekend? I know the Olympics, the Super Bowl, anything big in your world?
I watched the Super Bowl, but we didn't do anything crazy for it. Like we just sat at home and watched it. The three of us, Aaron cooked. Yeah, not much. Haven't done anything special.
I watched Super Bowl, lots of Olympics. And then on Saturday night, I got to play in a hockey game that was like older NHL legends and cops and firefighters. So they put me on the legends team, which was really cool. I played. Doug Gilmore's there from the Leafs. A few like older Leafs players. This one guy that went to the Olympics for Canada in 2018, Wolski. Rafi Torres, who has one of the longest suspensions in the NHL. I think one of the times he had like 42 games. So like that's how I remember him, just for like this one dirty hit. He would just run over people. So cool to play with some of those players. There was a Canadian Olympian, Laurie Dupree. So it was cool. It was really really fun.
Ken says, can you get my Sunday schedule back on track, please? This is really messing with my feng shui. We just said we are so sorry for all being all over the place, but going forward, it is back to Sundays, Sunday at 8:00, going forward for the foreseeable future. As we'll have the Open to talk about, we'll move right into quarterfinals, and then the semifinal season kicks off pretty quickly after that. So, and then we got Wadapalooza mixed in there. So plenty to talk about in the coming weeks and months. Ken is literally standing in front of his Gilmore signed Game U stick. That's a weird coincidence out of the stuff I have.
That is weird.
So this is hold on, let me find the picture. This is me and him before the game.
Nice.
That's awesome.
He's aged well.
Yeah.
His son played too. I think it was his son.
Cool. That's 2 weeks in a row you've been playing hockey. Is there any itch to like do it more often, or do you like just?
I would love to play like once a week in a league or something. The problem is a lot of the times they're like at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Whoa.
And I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Not with work next day, not with training. So if I found a league, I'm probably too late now. Like I'm on a couple call-ups now. I've talked to people in the last couple weeks just to be like on a call-up. But if there's like times that it isn't too late, like I think at the latest I'll play is 8 p.m. I don't even want the 9 p.m. game. But if I found something like weekly like that, I would totally do it.
when I played flag football after like losing all the weight, I joined a flag football team. I was like 44, 45, 46. And the games were at like 9, 10, and 11 o'clock at night. And like by like 46, 47, and they're like, hey, you coming back next year? One, I played offensive line. You're live blocking with no pads at that age. And playing that late, getting up on Tuesday morning got harder. And I was CrossFitting like 5 and 6 times a week. And I was still like, I was hurting so bad on Tuesday mornings just from like the hitting.
Yeah.
Because these 22-year-old kids don't like, they bounce back and so they don't care if they're throwing heads in and like, it's crazy. But it was so much fun. It was fun knowing I could still do it like at those ages and keep up with those kids. And my team made the playoffs every single year. But it did that, like the late night and then trying to get up for work on Tuesday morning was just rough.
Do you find it hard to fall asleep? Like when you
Oh yeah.
have an activity? Yeah, you get like amped up and it's hard to wind back down. Speaking of flag, was this like an AI thing that I saw? Is there flag football in the Olympics?
Next in 28.
It's coming?
Yeah.
What the frick?
Yeah. And NFL players are going to play in it.
Really?
Yeah. They just announced it like a week ago that the NFL is allowing their own players to play on the flag teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. And the same thing as like what you were saying, like no pads?
Correct.
I would have loved to have had that growing up as like an Olympic sport. I think that's cool.
And what was cool is if you didn't watch it, because not a lot of people did, the Pro Bowl, they really promoted the flag football. The Pro Bowlers played like an NFC versus AFC flag football game, but they had like the girls' championship right before it, like the National Flag Football Championship right before it, to promote the sport that it's coming to LA. It's doing and the NFL is backing it big time.
Oh, that's cool.
So it is a cool thing. I did watch the Super Bowl as well. I didn't have like a horse in the race. So I told you, like I do $2 bets. I bet on the over on sacks. So, because I knew it would be a defensive game. And it actually made it exciting for me because I was rooting for sacks.
Yeah.
And I actually won that bet. So it was pretty cool. I also put a couple on Jackson Smith and Jigba, but that didn't pan out as he was pretty much shut down and had the possible concussion midway through the game. But it was fun.
Yeah, I was just rooting for Kenneth Walker. So I was happy, super happy.
Because he's a Michigan State kid, right?
Yep. He was our guy, man.
Yeah, he was great. And to win the MVP, he deserved it. And that holding call on the breakaway touchdown was so chippy.
Yeah.
So chippy. But yeah, it was a great game. Loved the commercials. Loved everything about it. I just love the Super Bowl. I love the event that it is.
Seattle was the best team like all year, so there was really no surprise there.
It's a lot like the NBA where the Western Conference is better than the Eastern Conference by a lot. And I felt like the NFC was better than the AFC this year by a lot. Whoever came out of that NFC was going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I agree with Ken. Basically, the kicker could have been the MVP with all those conversions.
I really think someone from the defense should have won the MVP, but not one person stood out enough above the rest of them to get it, because that defense played unreal. Also on Sunday, we had the Lindsey Vonn thing.
I know. I saw that.
That was just, I was afraid that was going to happen, but it was so refreshing when it did happen.
Yep.
She said that like her knee technically didn't have anything to do with it in her post that she made, and that she caught she did 2 or 3 practice runs before, a few days before.
Doing a practice run and doing the real thing are
no.
of intensity.
Yeah.
My thing is she clipped the gate with her shoulder. my guess is just the reaction is you're trying to engage things that you're used to engaging. And she can say it didn't affect her. We'll never know, right? But that the stability in that leg probably wasn't what she needed to be in that moment. I just hope I'm hearing like it's going to take several surgeries, and I just hope she is able to walk and have a normal life after this.
Yeah.
Because she already has a robotic knee on the other side.
Yeah.
USA trounced Canada right before we got on the air.
In what?
5-0 in hockey.
In hockey?
Yeah, our best player's out. I don't even know if she'll be back the rest of the Olympics. I don't think she will be. Poulin, that is. And they've been getting smoked all year all season, I guess, by USA. USA seems to be more skilled right now, younger. We went with experience. Most of the girls on Team Canada are girls in their 30s, like that I played with and against, almost the entire team. They have 0 university girls that they picked. I'd say that most of their players are probably in their 30s. A lot of experience. They're very talented, but USA just seems to be more skilled right now. Yeah. The games haven't even been close as of like the whole year. They've been getting outshot, outplayed, outscored. Yeah, it's rough. And then when you lose your top player, it is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, we've seen many years where there's been many years where USA girls beat Canada at the World Championships every single time. And then like the round robin game and then you get to the finals, one game.
Yep.
Anyone can take it.
Yeah.
Just have to get there.
Just one game. So who knows?
I don't know if you had a chance to see this, Carolyne, but Jamie listened to part of it. But Tyler Watkins came out with a State of the Open report and put it on the Barbell Spin channel. And what he did is he went through the history of the Open and scraped all the data and then put together like trends and things that would help affiliate owners in how they manage the Open and move forward. And one, I think he should be commended for doing something like that. And he put it in a really readable type document that's easy to kind of leaf through and see like trends and things like that. And a couple key points, because they're going to actually go through it tomorrow on the spin. Okay. And I want to let them have that to explain it a lot. But a couple key things that came out of the video Tyler put out were that if a person does more than one Open, 80% of them remove or improve.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like you should expect that.
Now I think he said 40% of people only do one Open. The other thing was the majority of the people who have a decline from one year to the next do not do the Open the year after that. So that's a great trigger point for affiliates to look to if you see that person struggling, that maybe they need more attention or to reach out to them more because they seem to walk away from the Open after that. And maybe it's an opportunity to have another touch point with them and keep them in your gym and doing the Open.
I would venture to guess they're probably checking out of the gym life in general. I mean, I would think the affiliate owner probably already sees the writing on the wall with someone like that who's going to decline.
But that's an assumption. This is a fact, right?
Right.
And I think that's what makes it different now is you can assume that that's happening. And now you know because the numbers show it. Right. And so I think it gives you way more confidence in addressing the issues that you're seeing. And then the last thing, he made a statement that he doesn't believe that giving gift cards to affiliates is a benefit to the affiliate.
Right.
We have this pocket of money that we give out gift cards and things of this nature. And he thinks that we should go back to our regionals because regionals gave more back to the affiliates than anything else and used that money to subsidize. And he talked about back when we were doing regionals, it was close to $1 million a regional to put one on. And now like a good semifinal can be done for 300 grand or less. And just because of the number of people involved has been reduced. The amount of money spent on like streaming can be reduced, all of those things. And so now it can be more cost effective than it was when we stopped doing them back in the late teens. And I've seen that with my own eyes. When I went to a regional in the Central or even earlier at Central East, we packed the house every single time. It was a sellout every single time. And it was the energy in the building was huge because the affiliates were close enough to drive.
Yeah.
And you could go support your people. And when 40 people made it to regionals, yes, there were lower level athletes than we see today out competing for those game spots. But those people are who brought the big families and the friends and the affiliates to come cheer them on.
It's their games. For sure.
Right. And so I think it's interesting. Again, Tyler said tomorrow night on the spin, they're going to go through it more in depth and talk about more of the stuff. And if you go to the Barbell spin, the document is available for you to download.
Yeah. I watched it on YouTube. It was, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. He did like a mini 11, 12 minute video, just kind of summarizing it all. But the actual full document is available for download. And again, tomorrow they're going to talk about it a lot more in depth.
I liked that he pointed out that the Masters is what basically it's aged along with the Masters. I think that's pertinent information for HQ to know.
The interesting thing about the Masters is the retention is higher in the Masters aged athletes than it is at the younger level, which actually kind of makes sense, right? Because the older we get, the more we kind of get in our routine. Just like Ken wanting us on Sunday nights, that messes with his feng shui. Like once you get into the habit of doing the Open every year, it's just the thing you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once you've settled into life, work, kids, like the gym is your habit and you're doing it. I think somebody who starts at 26 and then goes and gets married and has a kid, that's the times that those fall offs happen. Like they just things, a big life change happens, move, haven't found a gym, get married, have a kid. You got to take a year or two off, start having some home life. So, it makes sense.
I still got to look at the video. I've been watching so much Olympics, way less YouTube things now that like all of the Olympic stuff is on. So I'll get to it.
He taped it and it's cut really well. So there's like not a lot of waste. It's just like bam, 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 bam facts for like 10 minutes. It's a super quick watch. If you haven't seen it, go check it out now. It's really good and really insightful. So while we're talking about the Open, just to pull up where we are right now, this was just posted about an hour and 20 minutes ago on the Mike Halpin Instagram page. And we are currently at 100,684. So we've broken over the 100,000 mark. That is up 37.6% from last year.
Nice.
And you can see like right about here is where we're at. If you can see my pointer, it's pretty small, but right about here. And the trend in the past has always been that it kind of spikes up from here. Because you're getting closer and closer to the Open. The deadline is getting closer and closer. And so in the past, that trend is kind of taken off. The outlier is last year, which is this blue line.
So we're basically a little bit above. Is it the 2022 season? Is that what we're looking basically?
Right about. I don't know what the exact number is. I think it's on the next thing. Nope. Here. 2022 was 106. Sorry.
Okay.
2022 was 106, and we're at 106.
Yeah.
So it's pretty close, pretty dead even between those two. But again, like that a major event happened in 2024.
Right.
There was, like I said this afternoon, there was a death in the family and there was a grieving process, and that affected 2025. And so it's really important that we focus on the improvement from that as we're coming out of that.
Agreed.
Yeah, because it was like COVID brought it down, and then we were starting to come back up. Then obviously the Lazar thing drew way less people to the season last year, and then it'll kind of have that same, I think, trajectory coming back up again.
So I think realistically, you just are looking at these 2 years to see the improvement. And then as we get a little bit further away, then you can compare it back to these numbers coming out of COVID. Because 2022 is 2 years after COVID. We are now 2 years after Lazar, and it's really similar.
Yeah.
Right. So next year we should be looking at 2023 and how do we look there?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are we on the same trend? So anyway, I think that, when we were coming into the Open, there were a lot of people saying they thought we wouldn't match last year's number. And I think the numbers are showing a nice trend. And I think that CrossFit media doing much more this year has helped tremendously. The word is out there much more than it's been in the last few years.
Yep.
So before I forget, did you know that Thirdzy is running a self-care 30 Valentine's Day special?
Ooh, nice.
And it is to focus on you so you can focus on others.
If you sleep better, you will be a better partner because you will have more energy.
Exactly. Rest and recovery are essential to take care of others. And Thirdzy can help you do that. And you can get 30% off any purchase of $85 or more using the code Jazzy at checkout or going to thirdzy.com/Jazzy. That's a huge deal. That's double the normal savings on the product. And it helps you so much. It has helped me tremendously through my recovery, knowing that I'm going to get a good night's sleep. So go check that out now. So WFP, their male lineup, I thought was pretty much set.
Yep.
They just announced the last 3 signings. Well, I can't say last 3. Colton Mertens, Tola Morakinyo, and Yonakoski were announced as signed.
Yep.
There's 1 spot left, and James Sprague has not been announced.
Which is weird. He's stated several times he's in.
So this came out just before we went live. The Barbell spin with today's WFP announcement that Koski, Mertens, and Morakinyo signed their contracts. There's only 1 spot remaining in the men's field. The last announcement will be Sprague, right? And look, there's James Sprague in the comments. You are influenced by the top 5 people you hang around at the Boys Interrupted.
Oh, no. I kind of hate that for him.
I thought he had a decent plan going into the season.
I did too.
Reduce the amount of semifinals you sign up for. Do Mexico City, and then everything else is after the season.
Mm-hmm.
But is James playing with us, or is he serious?
I feel like James doesn't normally lie too much. Like he's an oversharer of every information.
But there's really not an answer here either.
Yeah.
No, but I mean that's pretty
kind of an answer.
It kind of is an answer.
Interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
He's said he loves competing and he loves the opportunity to he was first. $100,000 is nothing to sniff at. Like, I mean, if he wants to provide for his family while he can, it's a sure shot right there to just get your money.
Yeah, I was really shocked when I saw that.
Yeah, because each of the events is how much? Each one of them, if he wins. Let's say he wins all 3. How much is that in total? Like, wasn't it like around 150,000?
I think
That's
so.
That's more than a second place at the games.
And he's guaranteed 100. That's more
Right,
than
you're-
place
yeah,
at the games.
Right.
I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Like, I get you want to win the games, but like, I still think he can win the games and do that.
I know.
So I put in the rundown a question for you two, because you guys, like, I don't have this opportunity, right? You guys at your peaks would have this opportunity. If you were presented with the opportunity at WFP and the opportunity to compete for the CrossFit Games, would you do CrossFit Games? Would you do WFP, or would you do both?
I'd do both. I just can't with work. I can't take that much time off to travel to compete. But if I wasn't a teacher and working full time, 100% I'm doing both.
Yeah, I mean, I would do both. That's really hard to say though, because I'm like just never anywhere near the opportunities of James. Like, I suppose if you truly were pretty confident you could win the games, I don't know. It might be worth buckling down on that. Has he had any like overuse injuries? Was anything going on this year? I mean, I never heard any of that. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who isn't, even with the competing. Like, if anyone, I'd say that'd be Colton. Colton overcompeted and did a little too much. James was really smart with his season, I feel like. And he's getting stronger, which is crazy when you're competing that much. And that's really what he needed. I think these opportunities to learn on the competition floor have only continued to make him better and better. He's a good racer.
Ken says he's not passing on 100K. Chad in New, well, this is a different thing. We'll get to that in a second. John George says pencil. I think he's playing games, but would be crazy if he declined. And then I didn't know this, but Chattanooga says, like how Sprague doesn't have the WFP leather jacket in his background when he goes on Boys Interrupted pods, but then it's hanging there the next morning on the Sevon pod. Okay.
I swear it was in the last.
Terry says, or maybe taxes on the prize were too high in Europe. So Will Morad said something on Rich Froning yesterday about taxes. And then he did preface it with, I'm not a tax expert. But because the payout in Copenhagen was for the tour and not for the event,
right?
The taxes would not be European.
Right. It's based on the company, WFP, which is probably HQ'd here in. Right. That's right. That's, yep.
See, like, I laugh at that because, like, we get taxed all the time when we compete in the States. Like, that's just a normal thing.
Yeah.
Like, Europeans, Australians, everyone, just you guys never come outside of the States to compete to know that that's a reality for all the athletes that compete in the States, that there's a 30% withhold of your earnings every single time.
Yep.
John George says it's clickbait. James doesn't seem to be that dude.
He doesn't.
But who knows? Chattanooga starting a new rumor. Wife is pregnant, doesn't want to be overcommitted. Now there's rumor mill fodder.
Well, they talked about that. He had said he took a picture with his wife and he was holding the blue Jocko fuel can and she was holding the pink one and he almost posted it, but he was like, it almost seemed like a gender reveal. And he felt like he shouldn't do that. So I don't know, like, or was it real and he feels like he needs to wait? I don't know.
If you're confident enough, you can qualify at whichever semifinal you go to. You do both. It's one tour.
Right.
Yeah, he's got the open and quarters, which he can just breeze through. It doesn't even matter. Then he's going to go compete in Mexico early May. And then he's got his semifinals end of May or online semifinals for 7 spots, like a month later. That's plenty of time. Then you got the games, and then the other one isn't until December or when after the games in August. Like I could totally see him being able, like it's not that much. Now, if you go and do 5 semifinals because you're trying to qualify everywhere, like some of the athletes from last year that were like just desperate going everywhere, that's different. But in someone like James, who is arguably the fittest right now in the men's field, I feel like he could compete in May at the end of May.
He's signed up for Del Mar. Is that the one he confirmed?
No, he confirmed NorCal.
Oh, NorCal. Okay.
Which is end of May.
Yeah, I thought he had a great plan. I thought his plan made sense. And I think like I get why the others didn't want to do it because they did feel burnout. They didn't like the experience. James won WFP, right? Mm-hmm. So he did well at everything he went to last year.
Yeah, he's always relevant.
James trains seems to be more conducive to a little bit busier schedule.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's why it's weird because he said one thing and now we're hinting at another direction. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's just odd.
I mean, how many of us said that he was the athlete of the year in 2025 and he didn't even win the games? Like it's getting him more support, like winning these things and showing that he's just that dominant.
Like, I think he's almost separated himself from that top group. Almost like in terms of, I think he's almost a tier above them right now. Like he's just so consistent anyway, regardless of the programming.
I think the only place he doesn't separate himself is Rogue. Rogue is just too heavy.
He did excellent this year at Rogue.
Right, but he was not in contention to win.
True.
Yeah, just the only asterisk to all of this is Jeff Adler's health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, like I feel like James has been so good all year. Really since 2024.
Because he won Wodapalooza, he won WFP, he took 4th at the games, right? 4th, 3rd, 4th.
Ricky was 2nd. Was James 3rd?
James was 3rd, right? Dallin was 4th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. James was 3rd.
Yeah, so podiumed at the games, and then he took 4th at Rogue. Mm-hmm. That's a hell of a year.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's just weird. Then we look at the women's side at WP and nothing has been announced.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Like no one.
Top 10 finishers last year. We know 2 answers. We know that Emma Tall is in, and we know that Lucy Campbell is out. And the other 8, we have no idea. Because the only other announcements are from 11 on.
It doesn't.
And they haven't dipped into the 21 past, so we don't know. We just don't know. Why do we know the entire men's field except for one position, and we don't know a single thing about the top 10 women?
There wasn't a separate signing date for women, right?
Well, in the first announcement, they announced a handful of women, and Andrea Selberg and
Hannah Black.
Hannah Black wasn't announced as a sign.
Does it?
But Olda was, and Emma Tall was. Lydia Fish was. Emily Rolfe was. So it's like that 11 through 15 was pretty much all a yes. And then Olda at 19. But we don't know a smat, like Danny Spiegel wasn't on the list. And then the 10 up, we only know the 2, Emma Tall and Lucy Campbell. And we only know Lucy because she said it on Talking Elite Fitness.
Yeah, it's
So
weird.
it's just bizarro world. Because
It is weird. Like, is Laura signed up for the Open?
I have not heard that.
You
But I
would,
did-
mean, you would think she would stay with WFP.
Here's a little sidetrack, but Noah Olson is.
I know.
Do you realize how wild the 35 to 39-year-old
know.
men could be this year
Yeah.
at the games with
I mean, does he-
Noah?
Could Pat go there too?
Hepner, Pat Vellner could go there.
Because Pat could. Because if Pat doesn't qualify individually, let's say
Con was there last year. Sam Dancer said he's coming.
Yep.
that would be.
I mean, that is a crazy field of masters athletes.
Is Marquand in there now too? He was
Yeah.
there last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like Hepner is taking it like super serious.
know.
I love
it's
it.
so
I love it so
exciting.
much. He's funny.
I mean, that I was debating on whether going out because I already have a hotel from Wednesday on and debating getting the hotel from Monday so I could watch the beginning of the Masters. Because I'd want to change the way I'm doing things to be at every single thing, right?
Mhm.
But man, that may be too good to pass up. And I don't even know who's coming into the women's 35 to 39.
Yeah.
We've got Carolyne there, but I don't know who else is coming.
Mhm.
And that has always been a good battle. It's really exciting when you're seeing more and more of the legends now willing to do the Masters.
Yeah.
For us OGs to go see that, it's kind of worth it if you're making the trip out there.
Well, that was the point of adding that 35 to 39 was there were so many good games athletes that were just not making it anymore. And then it was an opportunity to have them continue to compete because it was always 40 and above before, right? It's 40 and above.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how much of the Rich Froning podcast you saw, but Rich said back in the day, they only thought they'd have a 4 or 5 year career.
Mm-hmm.
And they were beating themselves up for those 4 to 5 years. And now Rich's knee won't let him do the things to compete. But the later we get into the timeline of CrossFit, the better people understood training and the less beat up they are. So you're getting a better quality of 35 to 39-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So Vicky and Mark are both confirming that Laura has not signed up for the Open yet.
So
But that
we bring
doesn't
up
really mean anything.
we bring up Phil's comment, the second one.
Phil's, which one?
Will the roster be complete? So Phil
Well-
says, will the roster be complete before the qualifier starts, which starts in 7 days? I think that's incredibly important to have that released. This was kind of like,
Here's why it's not. Here's why it's not. Because the rule they made this year is if you went to Copenhagen, you get an automatic bid to Mexico City. So anybody in the top 30 do not have to do the qualifier, whether you're a pro or not.
so you should just assume that those 30 are in, maybe a couple less.
What if like Mexico City, the top 20, like there, the top athletes that weren't given a pro spot, they get their pro spot there for the season because they're lacking so many females.
Well, I think they've announced like eight of the 20.
So let's say they can't fill it. Then you go, okay,
give
Mexico
it to the
City
next-
becomes earn your spot.
Yeah,
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
that would be cool.
If that were the case, would Carolyne go?
I'd maybe see what the qualifier workouts are. I mean, that would be
Gotta do
back-to-back weekends to compete for me because I'm doing Del Mar.
But you as an athlete to get your season paid for.
Oh
Because
yeah, for
not
sure.
only are you getting a check from them, but you're also getting your travel paid for their tour events. So you get to go to those events without any money coming out of pocket.
The difficulty with that is qualifying to each of the events to have enough points,
Exactly.
right? To be able to compete and then earn your spot for the following year. And then mixing that in with the game season for me. Yeah, it's just tough because I can only take so many days off. And I don't like taking them in chunks because it's hard on the students. Like,
Yeah.
Del Mar, I'm going to have to miss 4 days consecutive. And I think like I don't do that very often. At most, normally I do 3. So.
Phil B, they have also sent out the special invites? I don't think they have because they haven't even filled out the pro roster yet.
I think they need to scrap that. You don't need, like,
you know why they did that. So like if someone had a change of heart, like Jason Hopper, or who didn't qualify for a pro card, they could get a top end athlete to come in and compete without having to do the qualifier.
there isn't anyone out there like that. You have no top end athletes who are fighting for this. So you don't do that. You need people who want to be there, who want to hype up your season. Not these guys who clearly
You're assuming they're making sense in their head. I think they knew that people had withdrawn last year, like Alexis Raptis or Jason Hopper, or all these people that didn't show up for the last tour event. It was a way to bring them back in without them having to do the qualifier. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's underestimating who you thought you would have and now trying to have a Band-Aid in case they want to come back. Ken, in the absence of Fergie, Jamie, would you rather have played a sport for Michigan State or make one CrossFit Games as an indie?
That's kind of tough. I mean, are you saying I was like a full ride scholarship to MSU?
Full ride and a national championship there.
Oh, that's tough.
Full ride, national championship versus one CrossFit Games as an individual athlete.
I feel like more people would know me from, I mean, I don't know. I mean, your local people of MSU people would know you, but you guys wouldn't know me just from being a MSU athlete. So
depends on if you were the only woman on the football team or if you were.
I mean, it would have been like running or something. That is a really tough question, Ken. Good one. I don't know. I feel like if you could have done well, if you could have made the games and been somewhat relevant and gotten some type of following, that I feel like that's where you were going to get sponsors and make a name for yourself, not necessarily the college route. So
you think financial, I think glory.
Yeah. I mean,
national
money rules
championship.
Money rules the world. Yeah, that would have been really cool.
So let me just say, I was a Division I athlete for a few months at Ohio State. Mm-hmm. The swag you get, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Walking into like Wendy's with your shit on, like people bow to you. It is unreal in a college town.
It is. I know. I ran for Central. I was,
but like the same thing happens. You make the CrossFit Games and you get the kit with all the stuff, and you walk into a CrossFit gym and people are like, "Oh, right."
Yeah, exactly.
But man, that brief stint at Ohio State, when I wore the jacket and stuff, like it was real. And I was a swimmer. I was not like out on the football field or the basketball court.
Yeah. I just feel like the pool, you say the glory, the difference is the pool of the CrossFit is smaller than.
I think it's all in your own mind. Like
Yeah.
I think if I was asked that question, I would take the CrossFit Games. One, because I just love that sport so much,
Right.
and the kit you get, and the stuff you could hang on the wall at home, the stories you could tell, like all of that would mean a lot to me.
Yeah. I know my head leans that way a little bit, but that's a great question. Caroline,
I have both. I have both
Yeah.
because I have a national championship at Wisco, a couple of them. But it's different because it's a team sport versus individual. I'm like
Yes.
proudest of like my CrossFit Games, especially like 2019, but like going like competing in Madison there, like for my first time was like so cool going to the university there. And like being alone with the spotlight versus being on a team, like that's different. But I don't know. National championship is like those are the best years. The best years.
Do you have a ring?
Yeah, I have 2 rings. 2. They're like this fat. They're in Sarnia though.
So cool.
And then yeah, our last year we lost in the finals to Minnesota.
Now Jamie has all the fantasy rings from our.
Yeah, she has the one I wanted this year.
Ken, I'm gonna say CrossFit, especially if it's podium, like Vicky said.
Yeah, if it's podium, then that's easy.
Yeah,
CrossFit. If it's not podium and you're just participating at the games as an individual, I don't know. I think the university stuff is hard to beat.
Vicky said, Scott, it's like you said, it was created off the back of tragedy, basically confirmed by Will on Mayhem podcast. Things like that don't sustain. Well, you have to build a foundation, right? And that's when you rush things, sometimes you forget about the bottom of the pyramid. And it's like when you're trying to lose weight and you skip the step of nutrition and you just dive into working out. Without the base of the pyramid, the foundation, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to take a, and here's where like the next thing was rule book come out, right? When you went into this season, you should have sat down with your team and said, all right, what were the PR nightmares of last year and how do we avoid them? Because we need to build a foundation. And then they put out the rule book and they leave the drug thing in that was a PR nightmare from the year before. Like those are the mistakes in the foundational pieces that WFP needs to work on if they want to succeed.
Yeah.
And what's happened to me, in my opinion, is right now WFP is right sizing. They're becoming that developmental league where an athlete like Sydney Mikulishin or Hannah Black or Lydia Fish can go develop skills, can have good competition to go up against, and can have money to support themselves for the year. And that could be very, very successful. And through that and how you treat those athletes could get you brand loyalty moving forward. But the games have been around too long right now for you to jump in and think you can buy that. You have to go back to earning it by the way you treat the people, by the way you run your events, and you take it, you work together with the athletes who need you and you need them to grow what you have as this awesome developmental league. And when I say developmental, I don't mean minor leagues. The way I compared it, and I said it today, was it's like the Big Ten and the SEC are the CrossFit Games, and the ACC is the WFP. You still have really good athletes who could maybe beat anybody on the upper tier at any given time, but the people on the upper tier are going to be favored.
Yep.
The concept of the league is cool though. And like having the points continue. And like imagine in a world where like let's say CrossFit Games was part of the WFP season and it's like that's like the Masters. Like the biggest, like you don't have the Grand Slam, but you have like that's the biggest payout or whatever, right? And you have Rogue and they all are part of the season. Rogue, Games, and a WFP final. Right? It's a triple crown. Like that would be cool and all the points kind of add up, but there's just not enough cohesion between everything.
Right. You have to build that foundation for that to happen.
Yeah.
And they just don't have it yet. They need to take a step back and build a foundation. And like Lydia Fish is so young. And if you treat her well and she has a good season, that brand loyalty of her signed and having a great experience could pay off in a year or two. Where she says, you know what? I could go up and put all my eggs in the games basket, but these guys have been too good to me. I'm going to stay on for another year. But they have to look themselves in the mirror and say, hey, we need to build this foundation correctly for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, the WFP for a lot of athletes are backup plans. Is to make sure they have at least some income. It covers everything. And then they're still trying to qualify individually at the games. But then if they don't, they can fall back. They have the WFP cushion, right? Not many of the athletes are like just going WFP. It's a lot of them. It's more of like their fallback option. And it's a great option for a lot of athletes to have everything paid for and, to have a competition with some solid competitors that are like high semifinals, games, athletes together. It's perfect. Just, it's another option for people.
CrossFat says, like staying in college for the NIL money as opposed to going pro. Look at the Oregon quarterback. I think his name's Dante Moore. He would have been probably a top 5 draft pick in the NFL. And he said, you know what? I make enough NIL money and I'm not good enough yet. I'm not good enough to go to the NFL and be successful. So I'm going to stay back a year, take my NIL money at Oregon, play with a top end team, and develop my skills so that I'm ready the next year when I go into the draft. It's that same concept for these athletes. Maybe Lydia Fish isn't good enough to go to the games and compete yet. Because she's like a 20 to 30 place finisher, right? And you don't even earn anything.
She was higher than that.
Was she?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she did
higher
pretty
than that.
well.
She did great at the games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My bad.
Let me check.
The cracks forming
She
in
finished
the
13th.
What's that?
She finished 13th.
Okay.
That's pretty,
My bad.
that's pretty good.
CrossFit says the cracks forming in Live can't make them feel good at WFP. True. Because the big names are leaving Live now after they got all those big name golfers. They're going back to the PGA.
Yeah, that's not good.
So is Carson Beck, Laura Horvath. Yeah, Carson Beck going back for his 8th season of college. No, not that one. The fact that WFP is doing a second season means they're doing something really good. No, it doesn't.
I mean, that just means they had enough money in the pot to. I mean, I think they have enough money in the pot to last a few years. We won't know.
So
Well, that's part of a lot of businesses' investment. Normally, they give themselves a couple years to even 3 years, and sometimes they're at a loss, and then they're still chipping away to try to break through. And I think that's fine by the WFP. I still think that they had a very successful first year, and got better throughout, like worked on a lot of things, and hopefully they can, bring something new this year or continue to evolve to eventually, hopefully, break through. But I think that that's normal for them to have a second season and third and maybe cut some losses at first.
No.
Ken said, but you risk injury, and there goes that NFL deal.
That's true.
For the college, sure, but in CrossFit, WFP is guaranteed money if you're a pro, like for Lydia Fish. The games are not guaranteed money, and you could get hurt and then earn nothing in the CrossFit Games season.
Yeah,
we're not qualified.
You're guaranteed the minimum amount of
hurt training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clooney's money equals doing good. No, I never said that WFP was doing good. I said they need to look in the mirror.
I think
and
he's
make
trying to say.
decisions.
I think he's trying to say that they have the money, so they're doing good. But like, no, they just have a huge bankroll.
I am not saying that. And I'm not one that's like wrapped up in where the money's coming from or any of that stuff. If you followed along with this, I could care less. They have the money. They can spend it however they want.
Yep.
It does not matter to me where that comes from or how much they have. They're offering it out to these athletes. If I'm an athlete in those positions, I sign up. Unless I'm Jason Hopper or James Sprague and I want to win the CrossFit Games specifically, and I want to put all my eggs in that basket, I'm signing up and getting a free year of getting to play.
Because like the bottom end of the WFP contract at what, like $10,000 is like what, a top 15, almost top 10 at the CrossFit Games. And you're guaranteed, let's say, 3 big competitions paid for, opportunities for you to show up for your sponsors, possibly gain sponsorships. So for most athletes that aren't like those, athletes that are looking to win the games and make, 50,000 and above, 100,000, 200, 300, the WFP is a great option.
Yeah. And it's very much like CrossFit says, the college guys that stay back and make the NIL money, they'll make more money than if they're a 4th round pick in the NFL. Like NIL has gotten so serious in college that you can make more money than going to the league.
And if you're smart with your money and invest it properly, you can have it continue to grow and be good for life. You should be good with life with some of those, like, millions.
Vicky said there's a difference between having money and making money. Having doesn't equal doing good to me. Well said. Phil B, I can understand guaranteed money for pro cards, but for someone doing a qualifier who then has to pay for travel and accommodation, then there's the open and quarters. It's a lot. I completely agree. I'm talking about the people who got the offer of a pro card,
right,
because they earned it last year.
Right. I've said that. I feel like that's somewhat the downfall of this. When you say you're for the athletes, you need to be there for all the athletes, not your top 20, not trying to pull in. Like, I would have rather seen smaller contracts and offer out to the top 40 or whoever you're inviting to this comp to pay their way to get there.
Like, let's say you have 30 athletes compete now, pro, no challenger division, but all 30 athletes get their way at least covered.
Yeah.
And then there's money as well, guaranteed for placing.
Yeah. Guaranteed money for placing. I feel like if you want 10 people to come in and vie for a spot, you need to entice them there. You need to, you're hinging this bet on whether or not like the programming's good enough for you. Cause let's be real. Most of these athletes are program dependent. So you need to get them there. Cause like, you can't just bet on yourself knowing this isn't a sport where I've trained for High Rocks and I know I'm going to do well. It's not that. It is so program dependent. And we saw like that you could maybe do that if you did the gymnastics event and like you knew that you were the gymnastics person. That's the one you go to and you pay to go to. But I don't know. This is tough to entice these people to show up.
Well, it's going to be tough to get 50.
Yeah, I was about to say, with 50, it's going to be tough.
That is absurd.
That's a large.
Like if you kept it to 25 or 30 and then paid the travel of those other 5 or 10 athletes,
yes,
then it makes sense, like as a competition for the pro card.
Yes.
But like, I agree with you. Like, you're put at a disadvantage being a challenger, having to do all the qualifiers and then trying to compete for this. It's crazy. CrossFit asks, do we know if the withdrawals got their cash? My understanding is it was prorated depending. If you had a guaranteed amount, each appearance was a third. And so if you showed up for 2 of the 3, you got 2/3 of the money. Guaranteed.
That's how I took it.
Vicky, forgot to ask yesterday, how are you feeling? S, and I think that's me. I'm feeling pretty good. The recovery is harder than I thought it was going to be, but the results are worth every bit of it, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
I can breathe deeply through my nose for like the first time in 5 years. It has been amazing. But it's like every couple days I get like this drainage rush. And hopefully that stops at some point.
Was it Thursday you were able to blow your nose? Or is it this
It's tomorrow or what?
It's coming
This
Thursday.
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. I can lightly blow my nose this week,
Right.
but I can't do a hard blow.
You have an alarm set on your phone. Blow your nose.
Oh, I'm counting down the days. So CrossFit says, so Haley got zero money. That's correct. If
And Emma McQuaid as well.
correct. If they did it like they said and prorated the money, 0 of 3 would be 0% and you get 0.
Mm-hmm.
But she got that Red Bull money now, so she probably doesn't care.
Right.
Talk about like hitting a home run.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good for her.
If you follow global sports, like Red Bull has, I don't give a shit money.
Mm-hmm.
And they are like their athletes are the best in the world in F1, in bull riding, in skiing, all the snowboarding sports, all like they have the best athletes in the world. They are crazy. No cocaine parties. Are you talking about me with my nose?
Probably.
No blow for 2 weeks. Yeah, that when I saw that, like Red Bull signed a couple other CrossFit athletes, it made me scratch my head.
Yeah.
But like Haley makes sense.
Yeah.
And her potential is there. Like to see her get back to that potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think last thing I had is, if you didn't see it, Pat Vellner had a heart ablation. That hits home close for me because that is a piece of what could happen to me if I go back into AFib again. He did not have AFib. He had a atrial flutter, which is similar but different. It's just a different rhythm. But they went in and burned off the piece of the heart that sends the signal so that it sends the right signal. And he said 2 weeks, he can go back to full intensity.
Wow.
It's pretty wild.
That is wild.
CrossFit says, you mean Luca, don't you? I don't mean Luca. I actually mean like the whole group they signed seemed to be people. One, Laura makes a lot of sense to me. I don't want to include her in this group. Laura makes perfect sense to me that she's a Red Bull athlete. But Noah and Yona and Luca, but Luca competes everywhere in Europe. So that's a different story too.
He just competed at what is that competition in what was it called?
The Crucible.
The Crucible.
Yeah, a lot of great athletes there. There's so much money there for those single modality events. Entertaining. Anything to watch. I watched a little bit of that on the weekend.
Yeah. Luca makes sense because he competes so much in Europe. But Noah and Yona don't make a lot of sense to me. I think their best days as CrossFitters are past them. And that doesn't seem to be in the same vein as what Red Bull normally backs.
I mean,
and it's not that I don't like either of them. It just doesn't fit with like Max Verstappen and the F1 team and all of that stuff. Like they're about winning.
No one must be banking on coming to the Masters and winning 35-39. I mean, if you think about it, the people who aren't super familiar, they're going to see that this dude took first place. If he comes and wins, they'll just see first place. They're not going to really narrow that down and be like, well, he didn't win the individual CrossFit Games. He only won this little bracket. Like, It could bring
So,
enough eyes.
like all the games athletes that just put 4-time games athlete, 5 times, but don't make it team, master.
Mm-hmm.
People don't know. They know what they're doing when they put that.
Right.
It's for like it helps the sponsorship stuff like that. Like
Exactly.
you're not
right.
going to write master team or master games athlete. You're just going to write 6-time games athletes, 7-time, whatever, 2-time. And then the sponsor's like, oh, games athlete. And if they don't follow the sport, they don't know.
No.
They
And
just
to
see
be
a lot of
quite
followers
honest,
and they see games.
you see if say Noah comes and wins 35-39 and highlight reels get put up of him, you're going to see him working out next to the likes of Sam Dancer and Scott Panchek. And you may believe that this was those dudes are freaking top of the sphere. Like most dudes want to look like them. So it wouldn't be a far stretch to think, oh, that guy just won first in the world.
So we've got to get Carolyne a Red Bull sponsorship before she wins the 35-39.
Yes.
So I'm hearing.
That would be cool.
Last thing I want to say, this just came across from Adam Schefter. There's been all this talk about Bad Bunny and the halftime show. I've said it a million times. They're not marketing for me. They are not looking for the 55-year-old white guy watching the Super Bowl for Bad Bunny. The ratings for his halftime show, 128.2 million viewers.
I thought it was 135 million last I had seen.
This just came across from NBC announced, and Adam Schefter, the ESPN reporter, is reporting it. The official number is 128.2 million viewers.
Yeah. It set a record.
That is an insane number. That is why he did the halftime show.
So
because there are people globally that tuned into the Super Bowl. 157 countries tune into the Super Bowl.
What was the numbers on the Super Bowl last year?
This set a record, so I don't know what the number was. I don't have it.
Set a record for
halftime show.
Viewership. Yeah, halftime viewership.
I mean, did the Super Bowl set a record for viewership? The thing is that number means nothing to me. If 135 million people were watching the Super Bowl and it stayed on, that doesn't mean anything to me. Now,
well,
if you tell me,
I will tell you that I would bet my paycheck that this Super Bowl did not outperform last year's Super Bowl.
No, especially with the teams that were in. Some people tune in just for the halftime show.
The Eagles and Chiefs were going to outdraw the Seahawks and the Patriots.
So that's what they need to say. 120 million people were tuning in live for the game, and it jumped to 128 and then dropped back down. They need to say that. And they need to say last year, the Super Bowl only had 120 million people watching, and their halftime show dropped to 100. Like, they need to be very clear about those numbers.
Well, I'm sure they're all out there. This is just what was reported on a text 2-line thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Most of the time, the halftime show gets more viewerships because you have people go for the artist. Like people that don't watch football will look forward to the halftime show to watch their favorite artist perform. Whether it's Rihanna, who was last year, Kendrick, anyone.
But anyway,
I enjoyed it.
I did too. I thought it was I really like the movie In the Heights, and it gave me that same vibe. I didn't understand anything, but that's fine. I got a D in high school Spanish, and it didn't stick. So there it is. Taylor Swift wasn't there. Of course, viewership was down. CrossFit with all the knowledge. Kendrick Lamar's performance drew 133.5 million, marking the highest in history, breaking records by Usher, 123, Rihanna, 121.
There you go.
And I had read that this one was 135 and then broke that Kendrick one.
CrossFit said Bunny's halftime numbers aren't tallied yet. This just came literally as we were talking about Pat Vellner. It came across from Schefter that NBC made the announcement. So I think it just came out. So Anyway, there it is. With that, hope everybody had a good time tonight. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled program next week. If you entered the drawing for the open registration, we're going to draw that on Sunday night. There haven't been a lot of comments saying I'm in on the YouTube channel to get into the drawing.
Everyone's signed up. That's why.
Well, we need to get more than 100,000.
Yes.
We need to get that payday for Carolyne at the games up. So with that, go to the comments, type in I'm in, and you'll go in the drawing this Sunday night for your open registration to be paid for. I have a code. I'll send it to you. You can just enter that code. It'll take care of your registration. With that, leave that comment, not in the chat, in the comments. And then, yes, CrossFit. Schefter breaking NHL trades was weird. It was. He was breaking NHL trades and NBA trades this week. It was bizarre. With that, hope everybody has a great rest of your week. We'll see you Sunday night, and I'll be back here tomorrow for lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys. Susan.